Hi everyone, this video is going to quickly walk you through the overview of the scholarly article project, just so you know kind of where we're headed by the end. I'm not going to go into too many details when I start talking about each of the 5 deadlines, and the reason for that is because each deadline has its own overview video that's really going to kind of explore what it is that I want you to do in that deadline. So this is just kind of a quick rundown of the overall project. All right, so this is a scholarly article project. The reason we're doing this project is because I don't feel like students by the end of 112, just in our major units, get enough experience with how to identify a scholarly article, reading a scholarly article, and just kind of like really digging into what is a scholarly article and what is it used for. So I want to spend a little bit more time as a side project working through those kinds of concepts. Another thing that's really important to remember that a lot of students get confused on is that the scholarly article project, when we're talking about picking a topic for that, it is not related to our MLA or our APA unit in any way. You can have a completely separate topic apart from what we're doing in the MLA profession analysis unit. Or you can overlap them if you want to. I mean, if you find that to be easier, make more sense to you, you certainly can. But I want you to pick a scholarly article that you're interested in reading. So if you don't want to overlap the projects, you don't have to. They're not related. Okay, there are going to be 5 things that we're doing with this project. So first you have to pick an area of interest. Deadline 1 is going to ask that you take a quick quiz, making sure you kind of understand what a scholarly article is, and then pick your focus area. So what kind of scholarly article topic are you going to be looking for? Biology, psychology, sociology? Can you narrow it down a little bit? Deadline 2 is going to ask that you find a scholarly article, and you'll turn that in along with a citation. Deadline 3 is going to have you preview the article before you read. It's a list of questions that you have to answer, like who wrote the article, who published the article, how many pages is it, those kinds of things. Deadline 4 is going to ask that you read and summarize the article, and deadline 5 is going to ask that you consider a hypothetical scenario of who would be using this article and in what context. Again, each of these deadlines have their own videos, so you can take a look at each individual video as you're working through those deadlines to understand more. Something that's also really important to remember is that deadlines 1 and 2 require approval before you can move on. So when you submit deadline 1, I'm going to take a look at your quiz, I'm going to take a look at your topic that you've selected, and if I don't approve your topic, maybe it's too narrow, maybe it's too broad, maybe I want to make sure that you're not confused, then I'll have you resubmit it. You can't move on to deadline 2 or to deadline 3, 4, 5 until you've gotten deadline 1 approved. The same thing is true with deadline 2. So currently deadline 2 is locked because you have to have deadline 1 approved. Deadline 2 has to be approved before you move on to deadline 3. Once you get deadlines 1 and 2 approved, you can submit deadline 3, deadline 4, deadline 5 at any point, whatever is going to work for you. Okay. Otherwise, there's 5 sections. Sections, deadlines, think of it however you want. They all have separate deadlines, and each one is worth 20 points. So if you have any questions, please send me an email or ask me about it in class.